Good morning, church family. Pastor Ross here, and to visitors, welcome to our devotional channel here at Rockhampton Baptist. Christian philosophers tell us there's only four possible ways of looking at Jesus. They say either he was a legend, we may see him as that, he was not who others later imagined him to be. Secondly, he could have been a liar, he was not who he said he was, and he knew so. And thirdly, he's a lunatic because he was not who he thought he was and he did not know that. Or fourthly, the only other option is that he was Lord. He was who he said he was, and his life and death and resurrection prove it to be so. Let me read from Luke chapter 9, reading Peter's confession here. Verse 18. Once when Jesus was praying in private and his disciples were with him, he asked them, "Who do the crowd say that I am?" And they replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others that one of the prophets of long ago has come back to life. But what about you?" he asked. "Who do you say I am?" Peter answered, "The Christ of God." So Jesus strictly warned them not to tell this to anyone. And he said, "The Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders and the other leaders. He must be killed, and on the third day be raised to life." Jesus made some pretty strong claims when he was here on earth. And the question for us is a similar question. Who do we say and who do we know that Jesus is? We could talk about him being a legend, that he was not who others later imagined him to be. And yet in this historical writers of the Bible, in those records, and also in secular history with writers like Josephus, we see the story of Jesus mentioned as well. In his commentary on Matthew, David Platt says this. He says, "There's no question, even among the most secular of scholars, that around 2,000 years ago, an entirely new religious movement and community were formed, almost overnight. And immediately hundreds of people started claiming that Jesus rose from the grave, even when it meant that they could die for such a claim. A fast-growing movement of people, which now makes up 1/3 of the world's population by some estimates, survives as a result of this." Another world-renowned historian, Jaroslav Pelikan, says it is from his birth that most of the human race dates its calendars. It is by Jesus' name that millions curse, and in his name that millions pray. You see, if Jesus' claims were false, then let's consider for a moment the severity of that. He made a lot of statements. He made a lot of claims. He said he had the authority to forgive sins. He was behaving as if he really was the person who was chiefly offended in all those situations with those offences. He claimed to have always existed, and he claimed to also intend to come back to judge the world at the end of time. In other words, here was Jesus claiming to be God. Was he a liar then? Was he not who he said he was, and he knew that? Well, if Jesus knew he was not God, then he was lying. And if he's lying, he was not merely a liar, he was also a hypocrite, because he told other people in his teaching to be honest, whatever the cost. That meant he was evil, and he was deliberately telling others to forsake their religious beliefs and trust him for their eternal destiny. If Jesus knew he was lying, he was a fool also, because he died for it. He was crucified. So legend or liar, two possible views people can hold of Jesus, and I'd love to tackle the last two maybe next week. You know, if you'd like to connect with us at all, then post a reply in the comment section below here with a question or some comment. Please feel free to do that. Keep walking with God and talk to him. Let him talk back to you as you read the Bible. And when he does speak, trust and obey. Keep looking for opportunities to bless others, and we'll see you soon.